There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel and another wee book haul. I haven't done one of these for a while for reasons that regular viewers of my channel will be well aware of. And I am champing at the bit to get back. So I'm going to start out of order. I'm going to show you three of the most recent books. Not the three most recent books, but three fairly recent books that I brought into the house. Because one of the first trips I made after Dad passed away a couple weeks ago, when I had some more free time than I'd had for several weeks, I went to the local bookstore because I had book coupons, book gift certificates burning a hole in my pocket since Christmas and my birthday. And so I spent them in rapid order, and here's what I got. The first one is Alphabetical Diaries by Sheila Heti. Fairly new release. I think it came out late last year. No, early this year. And I have a bite-sized book chat in the pipeline. It'll be coming out in the very next episode of Bite-Sized Book Chats with Nathan, who lives in Korea. And he sold me on it. I had never heard anything about Sheila Heti or any of her books up till now that made me the slightest bit interested in giving her a try. But this one sounded up my street. I kept a diary and a journal for 40 years with only very few breaks. I, for whatever reason, stopped keeping it shortly after I met Kenji. Don't know why. Maybe I'll pick it up again. But what this is an alphabetization of sentences from Sheila Heti's journal, so that everything's out of order, and it tells a very different story in alphabetical order. I don't know what the parameters of from which date to which date, and I don't really care, but it was about 500,000 words, and that she typed them all up and then sorted them alphabetically, and that's what we've got with no paragraph breaks. I'm not in love with the idea of not having paragraph breaks, but I am really intrigued to see what patterns and what meaning can be made and how engaged I will be with a book like this. So stay tuned for my bite-sized book chat with Nathan, because he sure sold me on it, and I know Lindy recently tried it, and it wasn't for her, at least not at that time. But if she liked all of Sheila Heti's other books, which none of which interested me, there's a very good chance that I will like this one. Let's see how it starts. I will read all of the sentences on the first page, and you will notice that they are in alphabetical order. A book about how difficult it is to change, why we don't want to, and what is going on in our brain. A book can be about more than one thing, like a kaleidoscope. It can have many things that coalesce into one thing, different strands of a story. The attempt to do several, many, more than one thing at a time, since a book is kept together by its binding. A book like a shopping mart, all the selections. A book that does only one thing at a time. A book that even the hardest of men would read. A book that is a game. A budget will help you know where to go. A bunch of us met to have dinner that night, but I left and walked off by myself, bought the silver ring, a bag of chips, then sat in the main square and bummed a cigarette off an old Frenchman, then continued to sit there for many hours, until the man with the bulgy eyes came to sit next to me and flirt. Well, I find that very intriguing. I'm glad it's not overly long. It's about 200 pages. Yeah, I'm as interested as I was, if not a little bit more. Next, I have a novel by let's see, where does she live now? I thought she lived in France, but maybe she doesn't. A Palestinian British writer. She was born in London. Isabella Hammad, her latest novel, Enter Ghost. This is about a production of Hamlet in the Palestinian territories, in Haifa, I believe. I've heard really, really good things about it. I am eager to read more Palestinian literature, given what's going on in the world. I had heard about Hammad's first novel, The Parisian, and heard good things about it. It sounded like it was about 700 pages or something, so this is a better place to start, I think. For me, opening paragraph. I expected them to interrogate me at the airport, and they did. What surprised me was that they didn't take very long. A young blonde female officer, and then an older dark-haired one, took turns in a private room to ask me about my life. They particularly wanted to know about my family links to the place, and I repeated 4 times that my sister lived here, but that I personally hadn't returned in 11 years. Why? They kept asking. I had no explanation. At points, the exchange seemed to come bizarrely close to them insisting on my civic rights. Of course, they were only trying to unnerve me. Why does your sister have citizenship and you don't? Right place, wrong time, I shrugged. I didn't want to bring up my mother. They unzipped my bags, investigated my belongings, opened every play, flipped through my appointment diary with its blank summer months, and the 2 novels, one of which I'd finished on the plane, then led me into a different room for a strip search. Surely this isn't necessary, I said in a haughty voice, while a 3rd woman officer ran her detector over my bare flesh as though I might have hidden something under my skin, and dawdled over the straps of my bra and knickers, which I had matched in preparation, blue lace, and as she knelt before my crotch, the laughter began to quiver in my stomach. I put my clothes back on, surprised by how hard I was shaking, and 10 minutes later they called me to a booth where a tall man I hadn't seen before gave me my passport and told me I was free to enter. Welcome to Israel. Wow. And finally, one of my most anticipated releases for 2024, Tommy Orange's 2nd novel, Wandering Stars. I love the cover on it. It's very simple, but it's just, the whole book, it just feels beautiful in my hand, and it's just a lovely, lovely specimen of a hardcover novel. I loved There. I've been waiting for this since then, and now it's here. And I am going to read this one right away. Heidi of My Reading Life and I are going to be buddy reading it starting in a couple of weeks, I think. It opens in Colorado in 1864, and then carries on from there. So I don't know how close it comes to the present, and I don't care. I just want to read it. The first chapter is dated 1924. I'll read the first several paragraphs. The first 4 paragraphs, a couple of which are only 1 sentence long. Chapter 1 is entitled Young Ghosts. I thought I heard birds that morning time, just before the morning light, after I shot up scared of men so white they were blue. I'd been having dreams of blue men with blue breath, and the sound of birds was the slow squeaking of wheels, the rolling of mountain howitzers, approaching our camp at dawn. The bad dreams had been coming for weeks leading up to that morning, so I'd taken to sleeping with my grandmother, Spotted Hawk. She'd prayed for me before I closed my eyes to sleep, blew smoke in my face after rolling up some tobacco in a corn husk, then sang me the song that slowed my breath and made my eyelids heavy. From inside the teepee, I thought it was thunder, or buffalo. Then I saw the purple-orange dawn light through the holes made by bullets in the walls of the teepee. People outside ran, or they died there, having been picked off running. Well, holy smokes, quite a batch, hey? Thanks for watching.